Welcome again to another Axis and Allies Generals Division game. Today I'm having my first game against BonkCC. He's also a YouTuber, so feel free to give his channel a look and possibly a subscribe if you like what you see. I haven't actually, I don't know if I've played BonkCC before. I might have played him in Friday Night Blitz. So let's see, he is, let's see, Axis 200. So he looks like he's a plat level player. I'm not quite sure what to expect from him, but he created the BonkTide good luck game. So let's go ahead, dive in and take a look. All right, so we are Russia. Let's get to it. Standard buy, tanks to discourage Kazakh attack, or stack rather. Do the time-tested 12-9 attack that works every time, 70% of the time. And let's pray we don't get another auto loss start. Earlier this week, like 2 days ago, I had my worst West Russia ever. And of course it was against a top player like Snoopy. And I had one tank. Well, this is a pretty good result. I'll take 7. I had one tank left in West Russia. It was like a 1 in 10,000 chance or something. It was ridiculous. One tank left over. Needless to say, I did not win that game. I didn't even make it through round 1. I just gave up. Good hit so far. Okay. Slightly above average start for us, so I'm more than happy to take that. So, when I play a player I'm not familiar with, normally here, if I were to play someone that I was very familiar with, I would move my anti-aircraft gun here, move it down lower to send it towards India. But because technically with 7 infantry, even if he sends 5 fighters, it's IPC negative. But some players like to spice things up. Like Terrence is the type of person that might hit this since he thinks he's behind by the start. I'll put my AA gun in West Russia just to be a little bit more conservative. I usually like to send the AA guns away because they're not super useful for Russia most of the time. I usually like to have them as like, say, hey, you can't send air here. Sort of thing. So they're more useful in India, in my opinion, to allow the United Kingdom to send more units up to contest against Germany. But since I had a good start, I'm going to play a little on the conservative side since I don't know Bonk's play style, and I don't want to give up this slight early lead due to some bad dice. That's it for now. Catch you guys for UK1. Welcome back, it's UK1. Let's take a look at what Bonk's done. So we went for the 7 infantry, 2 artillery, 2 tanks by. It's an interesting mix. I see Terrence sometimes do this build, and I think what it aims to do is prevent a Karelia stack or a Ukraine stack. So it's an interesting build. I don't know quite what I think of it. Let's take a look at combat. He went for Karelia, freebie, took C-Zone 17, killed 1, lost 1, Transjordan, got a tie in C-Zone 10, and got a pretty darn good result in C-Zone 7. When you do this sort of risky attack here with only 2 subs, you, yeah, this is a strong result for him. And he hit Ukraine, which is interesting. and retreated. It's kind of odd to me. I guess he didn't want me to counterattack that, but it seems a little strange because I get to keep, you know, the tank. I get to keep the extra IPC, so that's like 10 IPCs he gave me to protect those units. Don't know if I like that pullback by him. But anyway, I was looking at his placement. So he had to place fighters in Belorussia in order to prevent me from counterattacking and wiping all this out. So, to take advantage of that, I'm still going to do a fleet drop despite him taking out my destroyer and having subs, because these planes cannot reach Sea Zone 8. So I'm just going to plop them down there, let them have a grand old time, and ramp up the early pressure on Germany. Alright, so nothing too complicated here. It's going to be hard to do the Madagascar attack, isn't it? Those subs can just spritz on down, can't they, huh? Kind of hate that, but nothing I can do to stop it. Let's take out his battleship to snuff out that African income as soon as we can. And since he only has one unit here, I'm going to keep this transport hot and ready to where if my bomber survives, I can land 2 infantry here and save the bomber, which I think is a nice touch, and defend them, especially since he didn't buy any planes, so he can't counterattack Egypt with anything you know, remotely looking like compelling odds. Of course, it's not likely that, you know, most of the time that bomber will die, but it's good to have these contingencies in the back of your head. Nice, no hit back. One-rounded him. Bomber did not survive, alas. Alright, well, pretty average round, all things considered, and as allies, I will take average. We'll retreat with this guy here because it's a little bit more annoying for him to take that out with his planes, because if we position him, say, here, he can just send a plane, land in Libya, no problem. But if we put it here in Sea Zone 33, then he has to defend this. He has to move an aircraft carrier to land it on. Then he has to say, oh, he can hit with 2 fighters. So I guess I have to have my fighter die before the aircraft carrier, or he has to add a battleship and extra planes, which just kind of makes his placement a little bit messier. So, and who knows, every once in a while this little transport gets to live to see the light of the next turn. Not often, but it does happen. Alright, we'll move these guys up here. I want to keep some units here just to contest a, you know, whatever he decides to place in Burma, but by moving these guys back, I can move to Caucasus, I can move to Kazakh. I just have a little bit more flexibility with my deployments and, you know, make him second guess if he wants to stack Egypt, which I kind of hate when they stack Egypt because I almost never you know, fight it back unless something very unusual happens, but you know, he doesn't know that I don't want to hit it, so we'll play chicken. Check my defense profiles, group submerge for the US. Alright, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys next time for USA 1. Welcome back, it's USA 1. Let's take a look at what Bonk did. So he went with the standard 1 infantry, 1 tank, 3 transports. For his combat, looks like he hit C-Zone 61 with only 1 battleship. And I got the 1 in 6, and I took out his destroyer, so that's good luck for us. He hit Yunnan, no losses. Buryatia, new loss. What did he hit Buri with? 3 infantry. A little gutsy, but paid off. And looks like he also hit Sichuan and got... looks like we got pretty good results there. It's a little risky to do it against the 3 infantry, but I guess he probably wants to take more aggressive play if he feels behind or that he's against a stronger opponent. And Anwei. Looks like we annihilated him there too. What did he hit it with? 4-1. Yeah. So looks like he didn't get the best dice in the world there. I'm gonna stick with the standard build here because he does have 2 subs, and I'd like to ideally get rid of them if possible. So I want an extra destroyer to shoo him away. Alright, I think I'm going to skip C-Zone 13 here because he can just launch his 2 subs there, and maybe I shouldn't skip it. I'm a little torn on that, but I definitely want Anwei, and I want to capture it because he doesn't have any tanks, so if he wants to eliminate the infantry there, he's going to have to either risk planes or give us the opportunity to take one of these spots. Let's change my defense profile here back to default. Do I want to take C-Zone 13? It is a question that I'm not sure I have the answer to. I'd like to kill off these subs and give them the smallest amount of possible for value as I can. So I think I'm going to lean towards skipping 13 this turn. If he wants to trade them, I want it to be a gross trade, like what he has in C-Zone 8 is 5 units versus 4, and I have more units and I hit harder, so that is what I usually qualify as a gross trade. I think I'm going to change the UK's defense profile to destroyer last, just in case he decides to go for that and hope, say, oh, if the destroyer dies first, then he can kill the transport. And I don't think that's a good attack, but I'd rather lose, the aircraft carrier and cruiser, but maintain the transport than, give him good odds against everything. One of the very rare cases where I think destroyer last until there's no subs is applicable. Well, since that's about all I see, let's get on with it. Nice. Where do I want these blokes? If I land it here, can I block him off successfully? I think I can. Only 1 bomber can hit here, so that's going to be a good speed bump, especially since I don't expect these guys to survive. It means this won't be able to get India in time to block an India 3 attack, but I find it unlikely that he's going to go for an India 3 when he has all this crap to clean up. And he doesn't have any units in Anwei to take the China territory. So if he does want to go for an India 3, it's going to be an incredibly costly endeavor for him. move the cruiser here. And we're moving it there because I don't want to leave a good attack for those subs. Since these infantry are probably going to die a horrible, horrible death, I'm going to move the bomber to the United Kingdom in order to possibly bombing raid Germany, because I don't like to leave my units idle. If I don't have any targets for the bombers to attack, I'm usually going to bombing raid. At least with the allies. Since I have the IPC advantage early on, I want to leverage that and grind him down, even if it's a 50-50 trade, as much as possible. Got our Africa boyos. This is something I've been kind of considering, is do I send too many units in Africa? Because I notice a lot of players kind of don't, but I really like snuffing out this income for the Axis as soon as possible, and it kind of delays my pressure on Norway and Karelia and all that, but I don't want to give the Axis a single penny more than they need to. So that's one of the possible optimizations in my play, is do I send too much to Africa? I don't know. But I don't like trading this with the UK. I'd rather them be trading with Germany here in Europe, where they can get a bit more done. So I'm not sure if my plays or my strategy there is optimal, but it's... I could see an argument for people to say you should just send it all up to Europe as soon as possible. I think this is the better play, but with a compelling argument, you could convince me otherwise. It's always good to keep an open mind, because it's very easy to be stuck in your ways and just doing the same flawed strategy over and over, which I think all of us are vulnerable to. I myself am definitely included in that category. Even if I'm frequently at the top of the ladder, that doesn't mean I am perfect by any means. Alright, for this, I'm going to... Goodness, it just feels kind of wrong not having any targets for my fighters. I kind of getting a little antsy here. I'm like, I should be attacking something, right? Should I be attacking the 3 infantry over here in Archangel? I don't know. Is that the best play? Maybe. I have an extra fighter here to protect me if things go south, but I actually don't have any other targets for them, funny enough. So, yeah, it also means I won't be able to reach anything other than Archangel or West Russia next turn. Well, yeah, maybe I don't want to do that, because I think I need just about everything I have here to hold West Russia. This is a 25% capture here if he has anti-aircraft set to last. Less than that if he doesn't. But I figure if I get unlucky and capture it, it's not that big of a loss. But these strafes are important to get value over time. Do I want to hit this? It's really tempting. I am wiffle-waffling on if I should hit this or not. And if I can survive West Russia. I think I'm going to skip it. I think I'm a little bit ahead after his bad Japan turn. And I don't think I need to take a, capture. It's a 55% capture-ish. And if I get unlucky in Karelia, he could get odds on West Russia. And I think I'm just going to play a tight game. If I felt more behind, I would probably go for that attack. But I don't see the need to stick my neck out for a 0.3 IPC profit battle. I guess it's a little bit more when you consider the potential to get the territory. Okay, well, he definitely has AA second to last. I will be retreating. Let's put a note there so we'd remember. And I know personally, as Germany, I hate it when Russia is able to stack West Russia for a prolonged period of time, allowing them to trade these territories, denying West Russia, you know, having them not have to defend Caucasus. Quite agitating, at least for me. I am going to put an infantry here. It's going to be sacrificial, to be sure, but I don't want to give him the opportunity to blitz into Caucasus. And my odds here should be pretty rock solid to defend. Do I have enough free space to put a tank in Caucasus? Let's quickly calculate that out. He can hit with 8 infantry, 9 tanks, 5 planes against 13 infantry, 2 tanks. It's minus 10 IPCs if I have 3 tanks for him. It's minus 20 if I have 4. I think I'm just going to put them all in West Russia because I don't feel threatened. In India, as of yet, I got all my fighters. I think I have enough flexibility to defend pretty easily here. Gonna put mostly artillery here because I want to deter Ukraine stack. I don't think there's any chance he goes for that, but these extra artillery are going to make that small chance shrink even further. And when I look at the board, I'm kind of happy that I decided to skip Buryatia. This is a little bit close, and if I got unlucky in Karelia and missed everything, and then he got 2 or 3 hits, or I captured, things would just get complicated, and not in the good sort of complicated. So, glad we kept our tight play, our play tight, and even though we potentially gave up a little bit of value over here. Alright, that's it for now, and I'll catch you guys next time for UK2. Welcome back, it's UK2. Let's take a look at what Bonk did. So, he purchased a bomber this turn. Looks like he went after the C-Zone 8 attack, a little gutsy, but I'm glad I set my destroyer not to die first, otherwise he might have sacrificed his fighters and then continued the fight. So, little unfortunate, I only got 2 hit backs, but he only got 1, so we'll take it. As for the other fights, lost nothing, lost 1 in France. So overall, our hitbacks were decent. Can't complain too much there. So now let's look at the position. It looks like Bonk is going to be going super heavy on guarding his coast. So there really aren't any places for me to attack here. So what I'm going to have to do is go for the only target I can, which is C-Zone 6, and to take Norway. Not quite optimal to take that. You know, it's generally better for the US to take it, but I'd rather take away 4 income from Germany now than, you know, give them extra income for a couple turns so I can build a IC there. Not worth it. So we're rebuilding the aircraft carrier, buying an extra fighter. If he will have odds on our fleet if he wants to hit his navy, but I only have 1 transport. I got more coming, and I don't think it's worth me buying you know, another destroyer or something inefficient like that that isn't going to help me in other aspects of the game. Alright, well, let's lock in our purchase. So first, we're just going to do the standard freebies. I'm going to hit here. I'd like to trade Burma out if it's cheap. We're going to take 2 infantry because they're cheap. I'm going to land them in Norway. Since I know he's anti-aircraft second, I'm not going to waste an attack trying to bombard. I think that's really all I got. I don't have a lot in my deck here, do I? Alright, well, let's lock her in. For some reason, whenever I miss the first round, I'm like, oh, he has to hit. For some, you ever get those like weird mindsets like, oh, I missed. My luck is bad, therefore his luck has to be good. Am I going to be greedy and put 1 infantry up here? I think I am. I got this US fighter here, right? He has to push something into here. I think it's okay to be greedy in this situation. A little greedy, at least. Alright, let's plop these guys here. 1 fighter to help defend West Russia, which we should be able to easily do, since he sent his tanks over to France. In fact, I could actually stack Ukraine if I wanted. An interesting idea. I sometimes get a little nervous stacking when he takes Archangel, but should be okay. As long as I take his threat seriously. Oh, failing to take Archangel and then having to sacrifice the UK plane because he can blitz to Moscow is not my favorite thing in the world. That's it. And I'll catch you guys next time for USA 2. Welcome back. It's USA 2. Let's take a look what Bonk's getting done. So, he bought another 2 transports and 6 land units. And looks like he hit Onway with his whole Air Force. We got a fighter. Well worth it. Get to keep these 2 income because of that. And yeah, Japan's off to a slow start. And looking by their purchase and the way they position their units, he doesn't have enough transports to field everything from, or he doesn't have enough land units for all his transports. So it looks like he's going island hunting. And I think, in my opinion, he's going island hunting a little too early. His pressure in Asia is just quite weak. I can just stack this with UK if I want and really shunt any, progress that he might have of getting these juicy Russian territories. So I think he's maybe a turn, or maybe not so much a turn too early to go for the islands, but maybe he shouldn't be sending 3 transports. He should maybe be sending 1 or 2 max. Excuse me. And yeah, so let's go with our buy. I'm going to buy 1 transport. I normally buy 2, but since he went for Alaska, I'm going to buy a tank and try to shoo him out of there as early as possible. I'm going to do a risky attack where I hit Alaska with just a fighter and an infantry, but I want him gone, and I'm willing to pay a premium to do so. Alright, so first things first. Let's take the easy ones. Don't have any targets for the US. I could potentially hit air raid Archangel, which is a little tempting because I really don't want to lose that, but I think I'll just do a bombing raid instead. Well, actually, let's see. What would it cost me to do a? It's minus 1.1. I am feeling a little spicy. I don't have anything else to do with these guys, so might as well go for the infantry. If I do, that will lower my concerns about failing Archangel and his tanks blitzing in to take my capital out. So that would, maybe the slightly inefficient trade is worth soothing my nerves, as it were. Just sloppy trades here and all around. Another reason I want to hit this is to make it more expensive if he wants to go for Alaska. Sorry, Hawaii. It's more difficult. Okay, it's a little I'm gonna leave a note for the UK to take that. It's, in my opinion, worth messing up the transport's logistics to deny the Japanese 2 IPC there. That was the most expensive infantry. Oh, man. Oh. That was so not worth it. Holy guacamole. Where's his destroyer? Did I kill his destroyer? Oh, I think he lost it. Man, I must have been on autopilot to move that guy there. I don't think he has a destroyer. I think he lost it. I'm gonna move this guy there. I don't mind moving. Well, there's really no benefit in moving that guy up there. I don't need a Finn Shuck because UK took it. So I'm not really rushing. Huh. Can posture for a med shock. Man, that was a bad trade. That was a bottom 2% result. Whew. That sucks. That hurt a lot. Yeah. That hurt a lot. That kind of shaved away a lot of our lead. Minus 22 IPC is gone. Whoosh. Forgotten. Well, let's just keep cracking away at the giant Russian infantry stacks. Oh, man, I'll take that blood money. Maybe I should hit that with West Russia since they have less movement options. Oof. Well, now I can consider something else. I can consider potentially stacking Ukraine. And if I want to do that. Because he doesn't really have that much in range of it. So that's certainly an option. Let me tinker with the numbers a bit, and I'll see what looks best. Be back in a minute. All right, I ran the numbers, and there's basically no way. If that U.S. fighter was able to land in West Russia, there might have been a way, the bomber, but that's just not how things went. That's not how things went, and yeah. Jeez, 100% hitbacks. Ooh. Not looking super hot. But I'm still gonna move everything in here. I want to really put some pressure on Karelia if possible. No real reason to put this guy here in, because he can't get any units to Novo, so it's better to put the... Well, there's really not much of a reason to put it in Caucasus either, because what's he gonna do? Blitz? Nah, there's no pressure there. Doesn't really matter where I put it, does it? At least our hold Yakut for an extra turn gambit paid off, but my god, that was an expensive turn. Ugh. Bomber and a fighter. 2 infantry, both hitbacks. That was a tough-ass turn. Oh well, we'll keep grinding on. See you guys next time for UK3. Welcome back. It's UK3, and let's take a look at what Bonk did. Full land buy, pretty intelligent. Hit Ukraine, hit Bello, stacked Egypt. So those US troops landing down here coming in handy. For this turn, I'm just going to buy 7 infantry to prepare for this QD over here, dropping next turn, and that I'm going to have less than the maximum amount of troops in this transport because I'm going to capture Alaska and deny the Japanese that income. So, and a bomber, because bombers are amazing and they're like my favorite unit as UK. Okay, so let's get cracking. See if we can trade this guy. Go here, see if we can capture that. I don't mind sending 2 here. Can't really hit anything with them. He has no destroyer, so I'm going to force him to buy a destroyer next turn, or to be very annoying and force him to stack his fleet by moving to there. Oh, yes. Can't forget the Alaska attack, which I very nearly did, because I don't usually look over there as the UK. Sometimes I kind of take a gander over here. I'm like, can can I do France? And I'm like, no, I only have one plane there. I lost all of my planes to that jerk and Archangel. Tears, tears, tears. That really threw us behind after that. Got it. It's always nice when you get these. It's something like a 56% capture. Sorry, 0% capture. Donating infantry here. Well, that wasn't a great turn. He technically has odds on my fleet. So I want to be cautious. Where do I want to put this guy? I might... I could put him here. I could put him here. I'm going to put a little shield here to remind myself to defend that location. Because it's not completely safe. This isn't completely safe either. He has 6 planes. I have 5. Guys there. It's not a good attack for him when there's 1 transport, but you never know. Bonk has shown a propensity to be a very aggressive player, taking risks. So let's see, what can he hit India with? 2 planes, a bomber, tank, infantry. Actually 4 fighters, and I'm gonna have 10% capture, less than 10% capture. Yeah, 9.7% capture. I don't think he'll want that. We'll move this here to say, hey, don't worry about protecting this aircraft carrier. I'll just surprise sink it with the sub, take all the transports, watch the fighters scream in anger that they can't hit the sub, and flop down in Formosa. Or that's the ideal anyway, but I think he'll probably buy a destroyer, which is something. Can he hit this? He totally can hit this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. Probably want to defend that somehow, right? Oh, I have too many things I want to defend. You know what? I'm gonna change my plan here. Landing here is basically the same as landing there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna offload that and protect the transports here. That way I could just send like 1 destroyer here and protect them all. And I'm not committing myself to defending Sea Zone 13 and 10. I have too many places. I really want to go into the Mediterranean this turn, but I might not be able to do that. Might not be able to do that. Not safely, at least. Yeah, he's defending. I can hit with 6. He has 7. Yeah, there's no... The only thing I could do is take Southern Europe. Messy, messy, messy. Oh, losing those planes takes so much pressure off of him. Maybe I'll just send 1 infantry to Persia, not 2. Not a great turn, but doing the best we can. I think his Japanese strategy is flawed here. The way has so little pressure on Russia right now. I can easily shut this down here, and I will. So that helps make up with some of the lack of traction that the US is getting. Anyway, that's it for now. Catch you guys next time for USA 3. Welcome back. It's USA 3. Let's take a look what Bonk did. He bought a complex, 7 land units, bombed Russia, son of a gun, and took Burma with no losses. Did he try to bomb Russia last turn? No. Okay, so, yeah, he took New Zealand, wiggling and squirming his way in between my subs. So I'm going to place a sub here this turn to prevent him from taking Honolulu. Okay, so our build is going to be 1 transport, 10 infantry, a little bit more infantry than we actually need, but it's kind of an awkward buy. So we have some choices to make here. I could potentially go for a Southern Europe attack with my transports and stack the med if I wanted to, but that's not super appealing to me right now, mostly because I'm getting a little concerned that after I lost those planes, I don't have enough pressure on Karelia and France. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to move my stack up to 10 to really put the pressure on France, to let him know that if he wants to hold it, he's going to have to make some sacrifices. We're going to move these guys in Anglo-Egypt. And I think that's pretty much all the combat I have planned. I could do a suicide attack on France, but that doesn't really get me anything, so I won't. Super exciting turn. Do have a little something special whipped up for Russia, though. So let's see. Let's move 1 transport here. Move this guy down here to protect Hawaii. We'll move a destroyer to protect that spot. Let's move some blokes there. Where do I want this fighter? I think it's okay where it is. Actually, what are the odds that he lands there? Pretty low, right? But it's nice to have a fighter, at least one fighter here, to be able to potentially protect Alaska if he goes for it again. We'll have a tank, infantry, 2 fighters, and how many transports is that? That's 5. That's too many. Can't support that. Should be safe here. Okay, I think we're good. This gives him some scare here that we could go to the med. these fighters, while they can't hit Italy or Southern Europe, they can defend the area if I want. Kind of hate sending this many units into Africa, but I think it's good to just threaten a med shock here with this transport, just to let them know we mean it. Am I able to defend here? Battleship, cruiser. Should be enough to defend there. I don't need more than that. This should be good. Alright. Everyone's safe and happy. Protect Hawaii. Okay, now we're it's not really a big gamble, but it's a small gamble we're going to do with Russia to try to lock down a little bit of extra income for us. I can afford to put 2 infantry here, since I built more than I need to help shore up western US and Alaska. Alright, what do we buy on? One less artillery, apparently. Can't believe he bombed me. I almost never bomb Russia when they have Caucasus up, because it's just inefficient, and losing your only bomber can be quite expensive. Okay, so what do I need to hold here? This is what I need. Then that will leave me with 12. 12 units here. 13, actually. Okay. This should... should be good. I might have to send an extra tank if he gets a hit back. But it should make it IPC negative with this, assuming I capture everything. Oh, if I failed to capture this, that would be a tragedy. Oh, terrifies me when I miss everything. Okay. Good. Okay, he got the hit. So I need to send a little bit more down there. Do I want to send a tank or an infantry? I believe a tank would be more potent. All of these off. It's Russia. Okay, well, this... and we want to move the AA gun there, too. Should make this unattractive, and holding this for a turn that Germany can't retake is worth a lot. You know, it's 4 IPC gap. That's like taking away artillery from Germany, and this stuff adds up, and we're gonna have to make some squeaky magic after we lost 22 IPCs for 3 IPCs with the USA. all she wrote. I don't think it matters too much where the artillery is, so I think it's better here because he might go for Archangel. He can't really take Ukraine, and I have everything here I need to hold it, so that's that. Pretty good income. Starting to get some of our lead back, fortunately. But we're gonna have to be careful. Luckily, I think he sent a little bit too much into the Pacific, so I'm gonna have a lot of extra time and space to eat away at Japan, really slow down how long it takes them to start taking all those peripheral Russian territories. Anyway, that's it for now, and I'll see you next time for UK4. Welcome back, it's UK4, and let's take a look at what Bonk did. 13 land unit buy, took Northwestern Europe cleanly, failed Belorussia, and that's the risk you sometimes take when you try to greedily take a territory with just one. Sometimes it doesn't work. So, for our next turn, we got a little bit to think about. So for this turn, I'm just going to buy 7 land units and a bomber, which isn't fully utilizing all my transports, but that's because I don't really have that many great targets. So we'll just have to live with that. Okay, for this turn, I'm just going to hit these territories. It's more important for me to hit Burma, in my opinion, because I don't want him to be able to attack India, and I'd like to defend it as lightly as possible. Could also send a guy here. That might be interesting. Maybe I'll do that, just for the kicks. Okay, let's take 1 infantry here. Try to snag ourselves some cheap income. Take this bloke. Land there. Our bomber doesn't really have... Well, I guess I'll hit... Well... Our bomber... I think I'm going to start strategic bombing raiding Germany at this point in time. That's what the UK's here for. I want to detract from his unit count, and the US is going to be the knockout punch. Or at least that's my plan. I don't know if this 3-way split is wise or not, but I don't really have a way to defend Kazakh next turn and keep everything else safe. So if I kill these 2 units, maybe I can do it, but otherwise I pretty much have to retreat all of my fighters into India to keep it safe. Hey, that's what we like to see. 2 infantry dead. Alright, these are the middling fights. Nice, took it. And if we take this one too... Oh, we didn't. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate, but it happens sometimes when you take those kind of tight, high variability fights. Well, the important part is he can't take Kazakh without risking his tank. This is like a 55% capture. Oof. Well, that ended quickly. Not such a super great turn. He lost 16, killed 18. Not great. Not great. Do I even want to put that guy there? I think I'd rather put him there. Alright, I'll put a little map note here telling the US that please defend my fleet here. Please and thank you. This sub, I'm kind of happy with where it is right now. Can kind of reach all of his tender spots. Maybe I'll move one infantry out. Give myself some diversity here. And you guys, I'm sure you guys can see just how slow his progress has been with Japan. We're holding him off here. It's going to be his turn 4, and he still hasn't tasted the sweet Kazakh or Novembrisk income. Yeah, I like this spot. Very annoying for him. Gonna keep this guy here just to be a speed bump if he wants to take Alaska. Might get a hit back, help us recapture it. This guy doesn't really have any other purpose. I'm not coming back for him. He's been left at the island, and there's no rescue coming for the poor bloke. Okay, this is only sort of safe. Yeah, I'm kind of gonna need the US to defend both of these for me. Well, it's 4, but he has 6 planes, but it's only 1 transport. It's just a little iffy on whether he would want to attack that or not. I'll see what I want to do with the US. It's a tough turn. Maybe I shouldn't have gone for here. Yeah, tough decisions. I think I kind of had to skip the med shuck at this point with how the layout turned out. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see. I might just have to offer him some odds on my fleets. Sometimes you have to do that. Alright, that's it for now. Haven't been having great turns lately. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, we're barely inching ahead. Pretty tight game, but I feel okay about what we're doing to Japan. Germany is a little stronger than I'd like them to be, though, but we've managed to secure some good income for Russia and really hampered Germany's income, so that's a light in the dark. Alright, that's it for now, and I'll catch you guys next time for USA 4. Welcome back, it's USA 4. Let's take a look at what Bonk did. 10 infantry and a fighter. So, interesting. He looks like he mobilized the fighter to Manchuria. I usually feel that's almost always a mistake unless you plan to hit with it like the next turn or something. You can fly easily from Japan, but transports kind of choke things up. Alright. You got another bombing raid? Man, he's gutsy with Japan. Wow, took Australia, no losses. Sikh King, no losses. Kazakh. No, wait. Did he air raid Kazakh? He did, wow. Well, he got a perfect round, so... who am I to criticize, huh? It all worked out. So, I'm gonna buy 7 infantry, 1 transport, and a bomber to help rebuild our Air Force that got ravaged by 1 German infantry. So, I'm going to position this guy here, so next turn we can potentially take out this disgusting stack here. I'm going to move in with 1 infantry here. I was kind of debating on how I should defend my navy, and I think I came to the determination that I'll just have an aircraft carrier and 2 fighters here so they can defend, you know, they can hit Egypt, put everything else in Sea Zone 8 and 3, and just say, come at me if you want me. I'm going to give him odds here and here, but he'll only get 1 transport, so the damage shouldn't be too terrible. Yeah, USA doesn't really have a lot of aggression in them, huh? As is often the case. Definitely don't want to hit that. Alright, move these blokes up here. Aircraft carrier hither. Let's check my defense profile. I'll select carrier protection because we want carrier to die last in case he decides to hit Libya and Southern Europe. So let's exit and return to the game. Hopefully implement that change. We're gonna drop our whole big ass load here. Let's move these blokes up here. I suppose I can move this sub so it has a little bit more range. Might be better to move it here actually, because this sub covers this area, and this one will cover up there if he wants to slink on into Sea Zone 63 to avoid a destroyer purchase. Which is probably smart to avoid it, but I want him to blow that gold on that extravagant destroyer. Okay, how safe is this? 5, he can attack with 4, he can attack with 6 if he wants to buy an aircraft carrier, but I'm willing to let him have that opportunity if he wants to risk his whole air force. I put a little shield here, but I'm not going to protect it. You know, if he wants it, he can take it, but I'm more concerned about these areas. This place that has 4 transports is worth a lot more to me than that middling 1 transport. Alright. Bomber there. He can't reach Western US. That's fantastic. On to Russia. Now Russia's turn gave me a little bit of trouble. What I eventually decided to do is I want to trade this because it's worth good income. I want to hit this area. Normally I don't like trading with Japan, but since he's been so weak and slow, I'd really like to take out these territories to prevent him from hitting these those zones. I don't quite want to send my tanks in here because he has a lot of air that can wipe me out pretty cheaply. So if things go bad and I fail these, I'm gonna have to try and stack Novembrisk, but we'll see if it comes down to that or not. Kind of middling battles everywhere, but that's kind of how all of Russia's battles are. Nice, get some extra income. Force Germany to hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 areas of contention. Ah, superb, superb. Okay. And the cherry on top. Excellent. Oh, that was lovely. Alright, you know, Bonk, you had a good turn, but so did I. So, all evens out in the end, huh? Still have to land these fighters. At least one of the fighters there. Well, let's... do I want to even try to defend Kazakh? I don't think that I do. Let me make sure he's not tempted to air raid this. He has 5, 6. Let's see, this plane can go 1, 2, 3. No, he only has 4 planes. I don't think he's going to want to hit that, but let's just quickly plunge it into the calculator to see what those odds would look like for him. Poor. Minus 12 IPCs. Okay. He won't go for that. So, the next question is there an opportunity to stack Kazakh? I didn't run the numbers earlier because I wasn't sure how the battles would turn out, but the battles, well, I got a perfect round, so, you know, can't complain about that. But what if I were to just send everything in the kitchen sink over here? How would that look? Because I'd ideally like to prevent him from taking Kazakh a little bit more than I care about him taking West Russia. I think I'd have to abandon West Russia, actually, if I were to do that. Let me pause and do some number simulations, and I'll get back to you guys in a minute. Okay, I ran the numbers, and basically there's no way I can have West Russia and Kazakh, and I believe hurting Germany, in my opinion, is worth a lot more than hurting Japan. So that's what I'm sticking with. And let me just make sure that this is IPC negative for him to go for this. It is. Maybe, what if I send one more tank? Will that keep things safe? But that takes some pressure away from West Russia. I don't really want to do that. Okay, I think that's good. He's not likely to want to go for this. He has other targets that he's going to want to hit. Burma, assuming I take Burma, Evenki, Sikang, and I think I'm just going to let him have Kazakh for free. Now that the tank's gone, I don't have to worry about him blitzing Caucasus, so it's a little bit safer now. Those bombing raids are really obnoxious, but I have to say, it's really nice to have good income as Russia. Just getting turn 5, getting 27 IPCs. Like, I feel that while his Germany is very strong, I think he tried too hard to hold the coast and gave me some gaps to poke in with Russia, and that's giving us a lot more income than we should be getting at this point in time. Probably going to have to abandon West Russia within the next turn or two, but if he doesn't fully defend this, I will absolutely suicide my entire army into Karelia. I'll absolutely do that. I'll take that any day to be able to get the allies to flood on through. So we'll have to see. I think Bonk has some tough choices ahead of him for his next turn. And we are ahead, but it's after our turns. But the attack power is pretty close in this game. That flubbed Archangel attack really chipped away at our lead. So anyway, that's it for now, and I'll catch you guys next time for UK 5. Welcome back. It's UK 5, and let's take a look at what Bonk did. Well, looks like I once again blundered 2 transports into C-Zone 10 because I didn't... I forgot that there was a bomber there, so... Whoops! I'd like to say that's the first time I've done that, but it has definitely not. He hit Transjordan. Makes sense, he's evacing Africa. Took Northwest, Southern Europe. Looks like we got a lot of really good hitbacks against him. Looks like he had a really bad turn. So we got a lot of hits there, so that's nice. Hopefully compensating a little for our lack of attentiveness over there. So yeah, let's get on with the purchase. I'm going to buy 7 infantry and a bomber. And I'm just going to hit a whole bunch of stuff all over. So let's hit this. I'd like to attack this if possible. Ideally, I would like to stack Karelia here. Maybe I'll add more of these bombards to Karelia to increase my odds of capture. And that's about all we want to do. Well, this is less than impressive rolling. What round was that? Round 4 for our first hit. Ah, I can't believe I blundered those transports. I have done that before. I'll probably do it again, unfortunately. Luckily, this round, the dice have been fairly kind to us. Oh! I had to open my mouth, didn't I, huh? Well, the kindness is gone. Hopefully he doesn't get 2 hitbacks here, or this will hurt. I can accept that. So, what's our plan here? I guess I'll keep this bloke. Yeah, I'll keep it here to see if I can get him to accidentally attack this. See, the fighters have to land here. The bomber, I'll put that in India for a little bit more range. The fighters will go here. Where do I want this bomber? I guess Caucasus is as good a place as any. Now, I think I'm just going to pull this infantry back here, because if I don't, I give him a 50% chance on India, which I don't want. Yeah, it's a 49% capture, but if I add the extra infantry, it drops down to a 33% capture. He's going to march everything he has this way anyway. Why give him a free infantry? Okay, next thing. Oh, God, I can't believe I gave away 2 transports again. Oh, you'd think I'd be over this, but I'm not. Okay, I guess I can move that guy back since there's nothing in range of Alaska, in case I want to move it down to western US if Japan moves forward. So the next phase of the game is I want to try and stack Karelia. Maybe not for long, but I want to stack it long enough to allow the allies to flood in through here. And once you have a decent allied stack in Karelia, and you can start trading these areas and then sending units to help the Russians, as long as you hold India and Caucasus, the game's usually won at that point. It's very challenging for the Axis to come back from that sort of situation, even if you're blowing transports for free. So that's what my goal is. Do I need more units to defend this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And he has 5, 6 planes. I don't need additional defense. So that's the plan at the very least. So we're just trying to tighten up our play. The reason I bought 4 infantry is I can move that AA infantry next turn to Karelia to help hold it. Put a little shield there. Little attack icon here. I don't think I'd miss something like that, but you never know. I missed something like that. And that's 14 IPCs down the pooper. So we can take a look at the score. Pretty tight game, but positionally, I would say we are in a superior position. We just have to deter him from stacking Kazakh, and I think we'll quickly run away with the game as long as we can keep Karelia in Allied hands. Alright, that's it for now, and I'll catch you guys next time for USA 5. Welcome back. It's Germany 5. Let's take a look at what Bonk did with Japan. He bought 10 infantry. I took Kazakh for free. Hawaii, no losses. Killed 2 in Evenki, no losses. Lost 1 in Burma. Lost 1 in Sikeng. So he had a pretty sweet turn. Only got 1 hit back. So this is going to hopefully be one of the moments where the game turns in our favor, if all goes according to plan. So what I'm going to start out with is I'm going to be buying 2 transports to make up for this blunder here. I'd like to buy more, but I want to be cautious and make sure he doesn't take out Western United States with, you know, and the result is me being greedy. So we're going to hold back a little there. and 1 fighter to help defend Western U.S., contest Alaska, and hopefully help us out later on in the main theater, which is Europe. So I actually don't really have any combat that I think is worthwhile this turn. So, yeah, none of these are attractive fights. I was thinking, oh, should I continue the med shock? But I really don't want to. He has 6 planes. This is only 3. It does deal damage, but it's just too much of a risk in my mind at this point in time to justify continuing the med shock. So I don't think I will. So we're gonna just go straight to non-combat. We're gonna go to stack Karelia. Move this guy here so he has more range. We're gonna retreat those blokes there. Maybe I'll move 1 destroyer there to help deter an ill-advised attack by our opponent. I'm just gonna move this guy back here. I don't know what I want to do with this aircraft carrier. I guess I'll just move it here. I was trying to consider where I want to put these. Do I want to further... I had a little trouble deciding where I wanted to place these. So I want to be able to potentially hit Transjordan if he decides not to retreat, which I think is fairly unlikely. And defending India, I think, might be. I also was thinking of putting it in Karelia, but I think defending India is the most important here because I'm going to need to take a not unsizable amount of troops here to protect or to wipe them out in Persia. So to have these extra fighters in India to help decrease the chance that, you know, he just punches down into India less likely is to my benefit. Though he only has 3 planes in range, but still I don't have much use for them other than potentially defending Karelia. Let me make sure I actually have enough guys here. Huge overabundance of units relative to transports, but that's the power of Japan having their navy in range of Western US. See, if he lands here, 3 infantry, maybe I'll move an additional artillery over here as a safety blanket, just to increase the potency of smacking down anything he decides to put into Alaska. That's safe. Is this safe? Should be safe. You can only hit with 3 planes, so I have the battleship, which is a big deterrent. And it's not like 1 transport's worth a whole lot either. There, I have full load for them. Enough to be scary over here. I think this is a conservative play on my part, but I think we're in a good spot to where being conservative makes sense, even if we're not min-maxing our advantages. Perfect. Alright, let's send 1 bloke there. How many do I want to send here? I think 2 is fine. I don't think I want to send 3. I don't want to blitz here because I don't want to give his tanks access to Caucasus. Not that I think he'd go for that, but he might. I'd rather create a blocker and force him to find something to do with his planes. Alright, I think this is as reasonable as we're going to get. It's really hard to know how much to trade as Russia, because you don't want to put too much out there on the counterattack, but at the same time, you do want the income. I'm attacking this territory here, Evenki, because I don't want to give him access to Archangel and Vologda. Oh, crap. Well, how about we just lose everything and get nothing? So that's nice. That's nice. That was god-awful. Yeah, that was a bottom 4% there. Ouch. Hate losing my planes. I was also hoping to send that plane back to Karelia. So let me run the math. I plan to have a plane there, which I obviously don't anymore. So let's see, I'm gonna 18. I'm gonna build 2 here. That's 20, 21 infantry, 6 tanks, 2 fighters, and an AA gun. Yeah, it's a pretty bad fight for him. And I want all of the artillery here in Moscow in order to deter a Kazakh stack, which is less potent than it should be at this point in the game because he went really heavy on the islands early. So hopefully we'll be able to plug up Karelia long enough for the Allied units to flood in and bring those Russian units back through before he's able to stack Caucasus. At least that's my hope. Pretty good income. That was a terrible turn, but this turn might be the turning point of the game, where we're able to hopefully, really start eating into that German income and start trading with Japan using US and UK units rather than Russian units. So, good position, terrible rolls. Alright, see you next time for UK 6. Welcome back. It's UK 6. Let's take a look what Bonk did. He did a full land-by, took Ukraine, and kind of stacked it. West Russia, he took Baltic, stacked it. So nothing too out of the ordinary here. So I had to decide whether I want to do maximize my infantry purchase or add a fighter. I think I'm going to cut off 1 infantry this turn to add another fighter, and that's just how it is. So for my turn, whoa, I forgot about this guy, huh? I have to remember to disengage. Maybe I'll just move it out of the way. Maybe I'll just move it. No, I like this spot because I can contest. There's no reason for him to go there. I think I'll just move this out of the way. I've forgotten to submerge these guys so often that it's not even funny. Okay, and for this turn, I believe I want to hit these units here And the reason for that is I don't want to give him the opportunity to... Actually, let's not use this fighter. I don't want to give him the opportunity to take these 2 territories for free with these infantry. That's 3 IPCs, and if he wants to take them, I'd like to force him to risk a tank. I'm going to have to leave my planes vulnerable here, but I think that's a risk worth taking in my opinion. I may also risk my entire fleet here, but if that happens, it happens. I also like to attack this, but I can't. I need this infantry and the fighters here to defend this from his counterattack and give him IPC negative odds. Nice. Oh, perfect. We captured. Okay. I can be relaxed then. I can relax. I like relaxing. I guess I don't even need him over there, huh? I'll keep this guy here just to allow me to trade and threaten his navy. Especially since I have extra bombers over here, he's gonna have to be very cautious. Let's put 2 infantry here to try and send some guys up to help Russia before, you know, we're cut off, which is going to be any day now. I think that's good. Do I even need this infantry here anymore? Maybe it's good just to have it. All right. Take a look at the score. We're barely ahead in attack power, but positionally, we're gonna start snowballing. I thought for sure he would go to Persia, but I guess he wants to trade the US units down instead of the UK, which makes sense. This is a big ass stack here, why he'd want to stick around. But once we get this more solidified, in maybe 2 turns, the US is going to drop 10 units here, and then after that, it's just going to be a trading spree. In fact, he left me very nice strafe odds on Belorussia. I'm almost certainly going to hit that. Yep. Alright, well, looking good. Catch you guys next time for USA 6. Welcome back. It's UK 6. Let's take a look at what Bonk did. So he bought 10 infantry, another complex, took Alaska for free, took Novo for free, hit Kazakh and lost a bomber and an infantry. That must be a defense profile glitch or something, like he put bomber first and forgot to take it off. Let's see, lost an infantry on Evenki. So nice that we got that bomber. I'll take it. So for this turn, I noticed that he didn't unload this transport. So looking at the board, I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, it still shows we're even in attack power, but once you hold Karelia, it's an enormous advantage for the Allies. So originally I was going to buy 10 infantry to replace these guys and a fighter, but I think I'm just going to buy an extra 3 infantry here just to further decrease his odds on, say, like a YOLO attack here, rather than being maximum efficiency with the fighter buy. Because when you're in a good spot, instead of figuring out how do I win the most, you should think, how do I not lose? And keeping Western US out of his grubby little hands is at the top of my list. Okay, so we'll clear this out. I'd like to take this since UK, after that unfortunate Evenki attack, or not UK, Russia, rather, only has 1 fighter. Let's hit this with enough to make sure we take it. I think that's about all I need. Oof. Well, got a little bit below average there, but it's fine. I'm not sure why he's focusing on the US here when I'm clearly set up to defend Alaska, and he really should be thinking about how he can kill Russia in the next turn, but I guess that doesn't really matter. So I think maybe that was his little sneaky move there, to have that ready. Guess I can move that up. We'll move that to keep that there, to keep it nice and safe. We'll put these on Caucasus, because if I have 8 infantry, I can defend that. Just want to make sure all my stuff is safe. Looks pretty safe. Glad I abandoned the mid-chuck. All right. Put those guys there just to make sure he doesn't get any evil thoughts to go after Western US. Yeah, with a fighter, 1 bombard, his odds are negligible, and I can have an almost guaranteed recapture. So we should be pretty safe. Oh yeah, he bombed Russia, didn't he? I don't know. Should I just keep it like this? 8 infantry? I think that's okay to go the 8 infantry route. We just need to survive. So for this, 4 tanks, 6 infantry for a strafe. And I was trying to decide if I should go for Kazakh for the income or just hit Novembrisk. I think I'm just going to hit Novembrisk, because even though I want this income, I want to give the UK a chance to trade and preserve the Russian units that are oh so precious at this point in the game. So we'll let the UK handle this. I don't think I want to send 2, do I? 1 is enough. I don't really care about the income here. Just want to get an IPC positive trade. If I get the income, that's great. If I don't, I will survive. It's not worth sending 6 IPCs to get a 1 IPC territory when, you know. Seriously? 10 units all missed? Oh, thank the heavens he doesn't have UK. Well, that's good to note that he's now anti-aircraft first. Okay, let's change that. That's good to know. I guess I can put this here. Let me check real quick to see what his odds are on Kazakh. I didn't run it before, or sorry, Karelia odds, because I didn't know how well my strafe would turn out. So you can hit with 10 tanks, 5 fighters, a bomber, and I'm going to have, how much is that? 29? 29 infantry, 2 AA, artillery, 4 tanks, 2 planes, 3 with the fighter. Okay, I think that's good. I don't really want to add more guys to Vologda. I don't think I plan to hit this. That shouldn't be a positive trade for me. I'm probably just gonna let him go through. Yeah, that's a 6% chance to conquer. No way he wants to go for that. What did I write here that I need to be safe? 8 infantry, 2 fighters. Well, I'm gonna plonk a extra 2 artillery there, just for safety's sake. Now, it is worth noting that he can blitz this in, and he has 5 planes. Yeah, there's no chance that's a good fight for him. Oh, and I guess I can add an extra infantry there because I got bombed. And this is kind of a prime example of why it's not super lucrative to bomb Russia when they have Caucasus still, because you have to kind of hit both to have a real impact on them, and I don't think it's worth risking your bomber for something that isn't going to do anything unless you get 2 or 3 bombing raids in. Alright, I guess I can get rid of these markers, and let's take a look at the scoreboard. Okay, yeah, now we're 36 IPC ahead. And it's probably, wow, Japan's pretty strong. It's probably only going to get worse from here for them. Once the UK and US start filtering through, Russia's going to get a bit more income, a bit more space to bulk up. And once this stack is able to maneuver back to Moscow, that should be game over. So, pretty good position thus far. Alright, catch you guys next time for UK 7. Welcome back, it's UK 7. Let's take a look at what Bonk did. So he bought all land buy, and let's see, he hit Northwestern Europe. We got pretty good results. I mean, we killed 3, lost none, that's great. Lost West Russia, yeah, destroyed, yeah, And he hit Sea Zone 5 and got a top 56% result. I knew there was a chance he would do that, but no, I think that was a reasonable attack by him. He's in a pretty terrible position, and that gained him a lot of value. Yeah, he traded 50 IPCs for 85, so pretty sweet fight by him. But now he's gonna trade like garbage, and we still have a pretty massive IPC lead, so I think that's just gonna make things even more challenging for him. Alright, so I'm just gonna buy 3 guys for India and 3 transports, and the US will defend since he doesn't have a bomber in range, and we'll get right back to dropping on his face next turn. Can I kill this? How many bombers are in range? Only 1. Okay. Never mind. Never mind. Let's see. We'll hit. This is super important that I take that, so I'm gonna hit it with maybe I don't need that much. I'll add an extra UK fighter there. I can hit this. I don't mind trading out UK units. I want to trade with the UK and save with the US for a big punch. This is the most important fight. I need to conquer this. I guess I didn't need to conquer it, huh? Well, sometimes even if you think you send enough firepower, it's not always enough to win round them. But hopefully it shouldn't matter too much, as long as we're able to hold Karelia, India, and Caucasus. The game should be well within our control. Alright. Guess I can move this here to be annoying. I'll move this guy here also to be annoying. He's a sacrificial pawn. He's going to live his life like it. Does he have a tank that he... Wow, 1 tank and 5 planes to blitz. How much can he hit here with? 1, 2, 3. So 3... 2 fighters, a bomber, 8 infantry. We have enough. We definitely have enough to hold that. Let's move this guy to Moscow. I guess I'll just keep that in Karelia to allow the Russians to send more units out back to their home rather than camping out in Karelia, trying to act cool, smoking cigarettes in the parking lot. School parking lot at that. Man, that reminds me. I once had this kid in high school that like ditched class and then started smoking a cigarette and just walked up to the glass door and just puffed a huge whiffs of smoke right into the classroom. Everyone saw him, and I just thought, like, man, how can people be that stupid? But they are. Wasn't exactly a sneaky public display, but yeah, I guess that's why they say you're not an adult till you're 18, though unfortunately some people, no matter how old they get, never quite get their mental maturity up to that level. Alright, I think that's enough. It's a shame we lost our fleet, but he's lost his ability to trade efficiently. And while he got a big IPC positive trade out of that, I knew there was a risk with how I did that, and I think I can accept the result. Is this enough units here? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 against that. I'm gonna just keep one more guy back, because he's definitely in the YOLO range, where he's gonna try YOLOs. And I'd like his YOLOs to poof, like a wisp of smoke in the air. Oh yeah, I can even blitz in with the US and recapture it. There's no shot of that happening, so I think we're starting, even with that really bad attack, I think we're starting to get to that point where we're just getting exponentially more ahead. He got a huge swing there. He got a 35 IPC swing, but we're up, a lot. After the end of that turn, we're up like 38 IPCs or attack power. That's because we're rich. We're only gonna get more rich once we start getting a big enough US stack here to chase him out of Belorussia. But being able to trade these territories, reinforce Russia, I think our future's bright, like an honor student. All right, that's it for now. Catch you next time for USA 7. All right. Well, it looks like Bonk decided to concede. I learned he messaged me before the end of the game saying that having these two subs here caused a glitch that forced combat, I think, in Season 64. That forced these guys to submerge, so he couldn't unload these guys or pick up and land with them, and I felt really bad about it. I offered to give him the win or some sort of compensation, but he was a sport and just said, no, I'll concede because I'm way behind. So I didn't realize I did that. That was unsporting of me. It just didn't even cross my mind, because this sort of situation just almost never happens where my subs can just sit on the fleet like that. And I felt terrible about it, but we hopefully it didn't impact the game, because once the Allies get Karelia, the game is basically over if you don't have Caucasus or India. But well played by my opponent. I felt really bad about that double sub thing, because that's happened to me before, but I wasn't quite sure what caused it. But he let me know, and I'll do my best to avoid doing something nasty like that in the future. So thank you for all the new subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, that would be fantastic. And the commenters to help keep me motivated to keep pushing these videos out. And I'll hopefully catch you guys next time. I had a couple other games that I recorded one in the solo games against Quentin, and one Axis or Allies game against Snoopy, but I got diced super hard, and the games didn't go past turn 3, so I decided I just wasn't going to post them because there was, no content there. But, yep, that's it for now, and I'll catch you guys next time.